We are now going to turn to questions dealing with the local economy, and I would like to ask the candidates to try to make your answers just a little bit shorter in the interest of time. It was recently announced that Salem faces a budget deficit that could be as large as $4.5 million, and that there will be painful budget cuts. The city manager assembles the budget, but the mayor and the city council guide the city's finances. Mr. Chapman, if you were to be elected mayor, why are you the person to deal with these problems that you would be inheriting?
Why am I the person to deal with them? I've certainly had to deal with them in the transit district. I've had a lot of experience having to do that. Just over a year ago, we had to reduce our service by 17%, and that was it affected lots of layoffs, and it affected very specifically how we can maintain as good a transit system as we can with those kind of reductions. So I have been through it. I also am someone who listens to the community and tries to hear their voices and be able to be sure that those voices are recognized in the budget process. I guess that would do it.
Okay, Mrs. Dickey, with the current fiscal forecast, what will be your priorities for the next 4 years as a member of the City Council in dealing with the city's finances?
Well, one of the things that I think is a really big issue that has caused some of the problem is the property tax limitations that were voted into the state constitution in the early 1990s have really crippled some local organ economies. And Salem isn't the only one facing it. Other cities have had a similar situation. And I really think that we might need to be looking at short-term solutions to take care of the immediate needs to make sure that we're still providing essential services to our residents. But then I think it's going to take looking at a long-term solution, looking at stable funding sources. And it may need to go to the legislature to say, look at the situation we're in now. What can we do? How can you help us fix this? So I think there are short-term solutions, but then I also think we need to be looking to the future and how can we remedy this so that in the next 4 years or in 5 years or in 10 years we're not facing the same situation.
Thank you. Councilor Bennett.
Well, sort of both questions. I served on the City Budget Committee as a member and chair for as a member for 7 years and chaired it during the last recession. And we faced similar magnitudes, if not greater magnitudes of problems during that period. And we made it. You know, we did get through it. You do learn how, in the budget process, to reach priorities, to make decisions, and the allocation of resources does occur because we have to balance the budget. In terms of priorities, I mean, we have core operations that every citizen expects us to provide. Police, fire, streets, water, sewage, you know, and the gamut of things. There are, though, some areas that we can talk about additional revenue, and I think we ought to have that discussion. One of them was brought up in the State of the City address by the mayor, and I think it's one that we should be talking with our counterparts at the state, and that's the state's role, particularly in its capital city, where 18% of the property, state-owned property, is off the tax rolls. Now, whether it's a payment in lieu of taxes, it's a service charge to various agencies for provision of essential services to them, much like we do sewer and water now. I mean, there are those kinds of discussions that should occur and I think will occur. There are, I think, a whole range of possibilities relative to our street system, although that is, you know, it's certainly not part of our general fund budget. We have a transportation bond that's going to go before the voters to deal with a whole range of transportation issues, street issues in the city. So yeah, it's $4.5 million is a lot of money, but it's not an unmanageable amount of money, and hopefully the public will take part in our budget process and share their priorities with us as well.